welcome back to my channel. It's time for us to talk about January favorites. January was like a beast of a month. I felt like it took forever to get through. There was so much grading I had to do. It was just like a lot. It was just a lot. But I ended up finding some new things in my collection that I wanted to share with you guys that I've really been loving. And even though I'm well beyond the window for January favorites, I still wanted to post it and talk to you guys about fun things that I have just been loving in the month of January. First thing I have is a skincare item. This is the Biore baking soda pore cleanser. I've never been a huge Biore person, but I've been finding more and more that my skin really does do well with like gentle exfoliating daily face washes. I was on a kick for a while on the Kiehl's like rare earth clay exfoliating like daily face wash. It had like 100-word name. And I went in my closet and I was like, all right, well, what else do I have for face wash to work with? And I had forgotten that I had gotten these when they were brand new. I want to say a year ago. And I was like, all right, well, let me just give this a whirl. Well, I'm halfway through this stuff and it really is enjoyable. I also really like the scent of this. I don't know if this is like a typical Biore face wash scent, but it just has this like, I think it's like a sweet floral note to it. If you're someone sensitive to scents, you may not like this, even though it's not super intense. If you're sensitive to it, it may be a problem for you, but I think this is really awesome. It has baking soda in it. That is what the exfoliate, that's what the exfoliant is. I don't know if the camera can pick up on the little white beads in there, but it is effective. If you're someone who has skin like me, you may find that to be helpful for you. Okay, now we're on to like makeup items. So I was recently in CVS and I was trying to find my shade of the Maybelline BB cream, the salicylic acid version. It is super hard in drugstores around here to find the light sheer tint, not the light medium sheer tint because that's too dark for me, but the light sheer tint. And I had like a bajillion coupons to use in the beauty department. So I came across this, the Covergirl Outlast Stay Fabulous 3-in-1 foundation. My shade is 805 Ivory. Now, I've wanted to try this for the longest time, but I kept not buying it because I was like, I don't really know what shade I'd be. And this was like years ago before I had really gotten into makeup and YouTube. And I just was like, I don't know if I want foundation, but I was like, hey, I've got all these coupons. It was basically free. I think it was like a couple of dollars for me when I bought it. And I really do like it. It's on my face today. I think it's a really nice color match for me. Now, it's more coverage than I'm accustomed to, but it's not out of control. Like, I don't think you look at my face and go, there's a girl wearing a lot of makeup. And it holds up all freaking day. There's no breakdown. It really is nice. It has SPF in it, which I think is a good selling point. So even though I know this is very basic and I feel like this is, most people have probably used this before or heard of it, I wanted to give it a shout out because I really have been enjoying it and I think that it is a standby product for CoverGirl because it is so good, and now I understand why people talk about it. Like, still to this day, I see people talking about it all the time because it is a good product, and I do recommend it if you haven't tried it. If you've been like me, like, commit to it. It is really good. I also want to try their BB cream. I have not heard a ton about it, but the things that I have heard, people seem to really like it, so I feel like I want to give that a try next. Other thing I have is a setting powder. This is the e.l.f. Just Sheer Setting Powder. Oh boy, I really like this stuff. I have been setting, I have a few like acne spots around my chin area, and I've been setting with this powder, and like, hello, no breakdown. I've had my makeup on since like 6 o'clock this morning and it's still holding up this afternoon perfectly fine, and it's 100% because of this setting powder. Before, I used to notice that my concealer would break down and it would be kind of irritating to have like these red spots popping through by the end of the day. I do not have that issue with this stuff. As long as I don't pick my acne, which I know is so bad and I shouldn't do it, as long as I keep my hands off my face, this stuff holds up all day and it is wonderful. I also have another e.l.f. product. I recently, one weekend, pulled out my e.l.f. bronzer palette and I just forgot how freaking good this is. Like, at first it can be intimidating because you're kind of like, what bronzer shade should I use? Like, there's a lot of options. I have been really just using this one, and it to me is just a really good light but impactful shade for me just to warm up my face a little bit. Like, I'm freakishly pale. It does not take a lot to warm up my complexion, and it can be really easy to overdo it with bronzer, but that shade in this little quad has been really nice and helpful. It's matte. There's no shimmer to it. They do have shimmer in like some of the other ones in here, but I'm really content with just the matte one, and I've been really liking it to warm up my face on a regular basis. Also, I've been wearing, I have it on today as a highlighter. I've been really liking on the weekends my Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector pressed in Opal. This stuff I will never be able to use up entirely because I have to use so little of this for it to just like resonate off of my skin, like into the atmosphere, into space. But it really is beautiful. I really enjoy it as a nice highlighter. My favorite formula of highlighter is in a liquid, but I feel like this gives you the same liquid impression, but it's actually a powder. So I'm so happy that I have the small size because I will never use a full size of this. And it really is beautiful. So you can get your hands on it if you haven't tried it. I would totally recommend it either in the liquid or the powder form. I also have an eyeliner. I have fallen back in love with my Physicians Formula Eye Booster 2-in-1 Lash Boosting Eyeliner in Serum in Ultra Black. I have it on my eyes today. I have just forgotten how effortless it is for me to put on this product and have a very opaque black line. It just looks really beautiful and the tip is just so precise. I don't know, I had forgotten about it and I wanted to pull it out one weekend to take a break from the one that I'm panning, and it is just a very high quality, well worth it eyeliner. I know it gets a lot of love on YouTube and it deserves it because it's just really awesome. The last thing I have are 3 brushes. The first is the stippling brush from Real Techniques. Now, I am very faithful to the e.l.f. stipple brush, the small stipple brush, but I've been really enjoying this one. I feel like the bristles on here are a little bit denser, and so when I go to like press into my harder type of cream blush in my How About Them Apples palette, this is a really good job not just like falling to the side and not being able to pick up product. And then when I go to like blend it into my cheek, it's just like the perfect circumference for this area. And I've been really liking the look of this. It is just a really helpful brush. And like I said, I have the e.l.f. stippling brush and I use that for different creams. But if you have a sort of harder, less emollient type of cream product that you're working with, I feel like this stipple brush will be more successful for picking up that product because it is just a bit firmer than I think the e.l.f. one is. The other 2 brushes I have are like blending crease brushes. They're both from Luxie. I feel like I've talked about these before, but this is the 237. What I like about this is I have found that if I'm looking for like a more diffused kind of blending and putting color on really gently at the same time, this brush is really good for that. Like I really have enjoyed putting on, like today I've got a magenta type of color in there and it just is very soft and sort of light, which I like, and I don't end up having a harsh line when I put product on with this. And then this brush, if I'm using like my other MUA crease brush, which makes kind of a little bit of a harsher, darker crease, this is really awesome for blending out those harsh lines. This is the Luxie Tapered Blending 205. So these, while similar, to me have very distinct uses, and I've been really liking both of them as an everyday, like helping with my blending or helping putting on eyeshadow brushes. They've just been dark horses where they've been doing a lot of legwork for me, and they've made a lot of eyeshadow application very effortless, and those just happen to come in a BoxyCharm. Like I didn't seek those out, but now I can't imagine my eyeshadow routine without them. So very happy to have them in there, and I highly recommend if you guys don't have any Luxie brushes to pick up those 2 or look for some kind of little kit that has those in there. All right, guys, that's it for me. Short and sweet this January, but like I said, I've been focusing a lot on project panning and staying focused on that stuff. So I've not done a ton of exploration, but the things that I have found that I showed here, I really have been loving. If you have any products that you've been loving in the month of January, let me know in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys in another video real soon. Bye.